live. Not now. Got anybody in here yet? What's up, Ricky? How's it going? I'll move this camera over here. Can you guys hear me okay? Keithy's here. What's up, Sean? What's up, Keithy? What's up, Andrew? Backwoods Biker. Can you all hear me okay? I'm on a new computer, so. What's up, Julian? Jade's here. Ricky. Oh, we're piling in. We got 35 people here already. So I know that you're all tuning in for the update on my van and hopefully my riding schedule too. Hopefully it's not just to hear about my misfortune. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but we only have 36 people in here so far. We have 36 people and 3 thumbs up. So if you're watching, thumb it up, because I think that definitely helps more people get in here. What's up, Raheem? Oh, hey, what's up, Mike? That's awesome. Max, my son Max made communion twice. He made it last week, and then I was away, so he did another one this Sunday. So he got to do it twice. Nice. Got 41 people and 25 thumbs up. So I posted something on my YouTube before saying that I was going to do this live chat and said that you could ask some questions on there. So while we're still waiting for people to get in order to keep this interesting, I'm going to get to the van stuff and my schedule in a little bit, but we'll let some more people come in. I'll answer some of these questions that people commented on my community tab, and then we'll get to the ones in the column over here. But I don't think there are that many. Yeah, there's only 5 questions. So this should be pretty quick. So I put this on my YouTube community page before. Let me just do a quick Instagram shot and say that I'm doing this live chat here. This will be like Inception right here. Hey, everybody, I'm online right now on my YouTube channel. So if you want to hear about the whole van incident and my schedule for the summertime and everything, head on over to my YouTube channel and we'll chat. There you go. You just saw that live. Okay. All right, so let's get to these questions from YouTube. So the first one was, obviously, you need an update on the thievery. So we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay, so Ryan West sent me a message saying he might not make it to the live stream, but he wants to know what my favorite Mountain Creek Blue Trail is. And if I could reply there, it would be amazing. So I commented earlier and I said that it's technically cheating because I was trying to lure people to the live chat by commenting on this comments page, but I'll hook them up anyway. So I just rode Mountain Creek yesterday for the first time this year. Actually, I took a couple runs earlier this year when I pedaled up. Yesterday was my first day riding my bike up the hill, or not riding my bike up the hill, actually taking the lift. And I would say that my favorite Blue Trail is Breakout. It's super fun. It has some jumps. It's fast, it's flowy. And if you're like an intermediate to an advanced rider, it could be super, super fun. All right. So if you go to Mountain Creek, check out Breakout. So Jay Bomba says, are you going to be in Warsaw for the whole Fat and Skinny Tire Fest weekend or just Sunday for the group rides? Planning on riding anywhere else in the area? So that kind of gets into my summertime schedule that's coming up quickly. But next Sunday, I will be in Warsaw, Indiana at the Fat and Tire Skinny Fest, leading a couple of group rides. One's going to be a kids ride. One's going to be an adult ride. 2 different rides. I'm only there for Sunday because on Saturday, I'm in Richmond, Virginia at another event called Dominion River Rock. So if you live near Richmond, Virginia, Thursday night at 5:30, we're going to do a course preview of the Urban Assault cross country course, which is a super fun urban MTB loop. I actually just posted that video from my channel the other day from there. We're going to ride that same course, and then on and so that's just going to be a pre-ride, and on Sunday it'll be, or Saturday, it's going to be more like a sessioning, breaking down some of those things, the tricky parts, and kind of demystifying the James River Park system. So that is this Thursday coming up, just a few days, River Rock, Saturday at River Rock, Sunday at the Fat and Skinny Tire Fest. Then on Monday, I go to Perrin Brewing in Michigan, and we're going to do a skills clinic there and a bike build that goes to Candide. And Tuesday morning, we'll do a bike donation to some kids. And then Tuesday afternoon, I'm back in Indiana, and I'm going to film some of the trails for a future Trail Boss. Sounds cool. All right. And Shut Up and Ride with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. This is for a Reeb. No, wait, it's for a beer. I'll use it for something. I am live chatting tonight on my brand new $3,000 computer, so I could definitely put that $10 to use. So thank you very much, Shut Up and Ride. That's part of the thievery stuff that we'll get to. And we have 69 people in a room, 70 people in a room now, and only 34 thumbs up. So only half of you have thumbs up this video. All right. Let's see. The next question was, am I going to be at the grand opening of the pump track in Port Jervis, New York on May 25th? So Port Jervis, New York is about, I'm guessing 45 minutes from me, and this is absolutely terrible. I've never ridden in Port Jervis, even though I've heard it's amazing. And I just heard about 2 days ago that you're getting an asphalt pump track. So I didn't even know that that was coming, and that's really awesome to have that as so close to me. Pretty sure I'm home the weekend of the 25th. I think I'm going to be doing a group ride with the guys from Tenafly Bicycle Workshop at Sterling on Sunday. So on Saturday, I'd say there's a pretty good chance I will be checking out that asphalt pump track. And then the last question on my YouTube page was, am I planning any trips to Northern California anytime soon? And that Paul would love to ride in Folsom, Auburn area. I'm definitely trying to get to Northern California. Again, I just spent an entire month in California. Didn't necessarily leave on a super high note. So I'm going to give it a go and try to get back there again for some redemption. So maybe later this summer, because my schedule's kind of full now through May and June, but then July is not super bad. August isn't super bad. So there's a very good chance. All right. Jeff Murchison, $2 towards my new computer. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So let's get to some of these questions really here. I know that all you guys want to hear about the van break-in, and I do want to tell you about it, but we only have 80 people in this room. I'm thinking that we should be able to get up to at least 100, and then we start talking about that. We're at 82, so we only have 18 more to go. So we're going to try to get to 100 or 10 minutes in, one or the other, and then we'll start talking about that. Now I got 86 people, so it's coming in quick. Let's see. Chris Nagy's in here. What's going on? You'll be at Sterling? Awesome. Yeah, so that is going to be, let me check my calendar here. May 26th, I'm going to be doing that with Tenafly Bicycle Workshop, and that is going to be at Sterling State Forest, which is also in New York, but it's pretty close to me. And then I'll just get into my schedule, because that's probably the less juicy stuff than this whole van debacle. So at the beginning of the year, I made a webpage. It's trailboss.bike, and I've been trying to put a lot of my rides on there. I need to get on the Dominion River Rock, so that's why I'm telling you about it right now. This Thursday, I'm doing a ride in Richmond, Virginia at 5:30. On Saturday, I'm doing another ride in Richmond, Virginia at Saturday morning. And then Sunday in Warsaw, Indiana. Monday at Perrin Brewing in Michigan. This gets so hectic. I'm going to have all those dates on trailboss.bike. And then the rest of my dates for the summertime, which include NEMBA Fest, Outer Bike Moab, all the other festivals I'll be going to, those are already on there. If you want to sign up for my rides, I love when you come at the venues and just hop on the rides. But if you can sign up ahead of time, it's awesome because then I can plan. I could hit up my sponsors for free stuff to give to you guys. So just like when I have a head count and an idea of how many people are going to come, and the way that I get that is by you registering online. When I have that ammo to go back to my sponsors with and tell them, hey, I need some good stuff to hand out to all these people that are coming to ride, it definitely hooks me up. And then also I can send you deals afterwards too. So for instance, what did we do after Sedona Fat Tire Festival? I got some discount codes from Vittoria and I sent it out to the people that came on the rides. I'm going to try to do that after all these rides. So it's definitely a good idea. Jason McConnell coming through with $15 super chat. Thank you so much. Why do bad things always happen to good people? It's tragic, just tragic. Creed, Breton, but buy yourself something nice. Yeah, I don't know how many of you have seen it. I just put up a video yesterday that the guys over at Pearl Izumi made from the Cand-Aid donation we did at Sea Otter Classic. And I put it up for two reasons. I put it up because it's a pretty sweet video. And then I also put it up because I was kind of computerless and I edited that Richmond, Virginia video on my daughter's computer and it really wasn't working so good. So now I have a new computer. I have some content. I was just in Fruta, shot a bunch of cool videos. So I'm gonna start trying to get back on track now. It was rough for a couple weeks. So we're working our way through it. All right. We got 94 people. Got 6 more people to go. Then we're going to get into this bike stuff. Let's answer some of these questions on the screen here. But yeah, thank you very much, Jason. That is awesome. Thank you for the super chat. I should come to the Techie Scavenger Hunt in Richmond in the fall. Josh, that sounds awesome. I love going to Richmond, Virginia. If you send me information on a Techie Scavenger Hunt in Richmond in the fall, there's a decent chance that I could make it. But Josh, comment below if you're going to come to one of the rides on Thursday or Saturday at Richmond this year. Last summer, I did a ride at Pocahontas State Park. We had like 40 people show up, so that was really awesome. So hopefully we can get close to 40 people at Dominion River Rock in a couple days. Green Bike Mike, you should definitely try to head up to the River Rock Festival either Thursday night or Saturday morning. Let's see. We have some riders from Russia. That's really awesome. I am part Russian, so it's pretty sweet to have some of my home country people commenting on here. Keithy G. Griffin is having grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony on Thursday for what's called the Warrior Trail, and is a handicapped accessible bike trail that wheelchairs can be taken on. That is amazing. Armin with the $50 super chat. Oh my God. That's a really good excuse though. So Armin coming through with a $50 super chat. That is super, super, super generous. And you wish that you could be on a ride on the 26th, but you're going to be at your son's graduation from Valville Flight School. That's pretty awesome. And I feel like since you're local and you just gave me a $50 super chat, we should probably set up a VIP ride. So we'll have to figure something out. So you don't have to worry about the ride on the 26th, Armin. Maybe we'll do like a special VIP ride for you. Oh, we're at 108 people. You guys ready to hear this whole van debacle? I see some people are commenting, was I able to recover anything I've stolen? Jason McConnell has a squeeb that I was ready to borrow a couple weeks ago. Said it climbs incredibly well. All right, so let's get into this whole van debacle. So if you follow my channel, you know that from April 1st on, I was in California. I went out there to do the Sea Otter Classic. I go out every year for probably the past 6 years. We do this whole assembly program, and this year we hit, I think, 14 schools in 10 days. And we visited over 6,000 kids. So going around talking to all these kids about healthy lifestyles, following your dreams, telling them about Sea Otter Classic, traveling all over the Monterey Peninsula, trying to get kids excited about bikes. If you're commenting on the right-hand corner right now, I'm probably not going to answer any questions for the next few minutes. I'm going to give you the whole breakdown on this van thing, and then I'll get to whatever questions that you're asking on the right hand side over here. So beginning of April, go out to California. I spend 2 weeks out there, 10 days prior to the Sea Otter Classic, and then a few days for the Sea Otter Classic. Everything goes awesome. Posted some videos on my channel from Sea Otter, et cetera, et cetera. Some years the Sea Otter Classic has overlapped with spring break for my kids. This year, spring break was a couple weeks later. So I decided to stick around after Sea Otter Classic was over from Sunday to Thursday and just hang out and wait for them to come. So that was part of the reason why I drove my van to California. Normally I'd have like a rental van. This year, since I got my van, I figured I'd take it to Sedona Fat Tire Festival. So some of you were at Sedona Fat Tire Festival. You might have seen it out there. I drove it to Sedona Fat Tire Festival. I left it at my friend's house for close to a month. And then I flew back out. I picked it up, drove to California for the Sea Otter Classic. Everything goes awesome at the Sea Otter Classic. Stuck around for 4 more days. And then now it's time to start my family vacation with the kids. Spring break, California. So we do a road trip from San Francisco down to San Diego, stopping along the way. And everything's awesome. Every time we check into a hotel, everybody has tons of bags to bring inside. I'm living out of my van, so I just bring in a t-shirt and toothbrush and whatever, and was traveling super light. So the last night we were about to fly out of Orange County Airport. So we leave San Diego, drive up to Orange County Airport, get there about 4 o'clock. I travel so much, I always stay in Holiday Inn. So I'd go on my app, find a hotel right off the highway in Orange County. It's about 4:30. Everybody brings their bags inside. I thought it would be kind of sweet to go to a baseball game. I don't really go to too many baseball games, and I was trying to think of something to do. So we decided to go to a baseball game. Go to the baseball game. They were playing the New York Yankees. That was pretty awesome. New York Yankees won. So that was cool to get to see a Yankees game in California. And it was like a dramatic finish. Yankees ended up winning. So that was super cool. So we get back to the hotel at like 11:30 at night, and Sea Otter was over. When Sea Otter was over on that Sunday, I spent those 4 days in California with that downtime. I'm sure you saw it on my Instagram page. I got a new fully custom 27.5 trials bike from Reeb that was like a one of a kind. They built it completely around my dimensions, and I would say probably for the past 3 or 4 years, I wasn't really totally loving riding trials or street riding, whatever. My old bikes were too small. Geometry was off. I just wasn't super psyched on them. So I get this new Reeb, used it for all those assemblies, and it was honestly probably the most, other than my Squeeb, this was probably my most fun bike I've ever had. It was really long. It had 27.5 tires, really agile on the back tire. I was totally loving this bike. Rode it for those assemblies, had tons of cool footage of those assemblies. And then I spent 4 days filming some trial stuff all around Santa Cruz with buddies, Monterey, whatever. So I had some good footage of me riding trials. And then I started to do a bike check video. So I had gotten some footage of that bike check, but I still needed to do a couple more things. So we got back to the hotel at 11:30 at night. We were going to fly out the next day at like 10. I thought it'd be a good idea to just bang out the rest of that bike check footage. So I was going to get up my plan was going to be to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So everybody goes inside. I hang back because there were a lot of people asking like, why'd you leave all your stuff in the van? A, because I'm an idiot. B, because I figured I was going up. It was by the time I got upstairs, it'd be midnight, and I was gonna come down at 7. And everybody has all their stuff up there. It's a big process trying to get everybody out of the room. So I took all my stuff, which is what I never do. And if you're into video editing, you know to never put your hard drives with your computers and whatever. The whole thing is to keep it separate. So since I was flying out the next morning, first thing, I took my computer, my hard drive, all my cameras. I stuffed them in my GoPro backpack. made one neat package, which all I basically did was make it easier for the thieves to steal. And oh my God, Rascal1234, another $50 super chat. Thank you so much, dude. That is really, 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 really generous. Thank you so much. I will definitely put that towards my new equipment. So I get all my stuff, I put it in my backpack, and I'm just about to throw it over my shoulder. And I think to myself, well, I'm coming down first thing in the morning. I got to finish this bike check video. Why bother lugging all this stuff up if I'm just coming right back down? So in a moment, if there was ever a moment I could take back in my life, I took the backpack, put it back in my van, and I put it behind the passenger seat. So it wasn't really in clear view, but it was still there, super easy to grab. So I go upstairs, I go to sleep, I come down first thing in the morning. If you watch that video of me doing the walkthrough, it's like probably the saddest video I ever made on my iPhone, because I honestly didn't know when I'd make another video for you guys again. You could hear like my voice sounded like crap. I really could barely talk. I don't know if it was allergies or whatever, but basically I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning and I felt terrible. So I was like, you know what? I'm not getting up right now to finish this bike check video. I have enough stuff. I'll just like figure out a way to do it when I get home. Go back to sleep. So about 8:30, then I come downstairs and I'm walking outside with my son Max, and I'm about 50 yards from my van, and I see the back doors open and my bike rack down. And I don't know, maybe it's like a bad trait of mine. Sometimes like when I know something really bad happened, I just try to like pretend that's not really happening. And then I somehow think I'm going to like will it into not happening. So I don't like sprint towards my van, but I kind of pick up the pace and I go over there and I see the back doors are open. And my first thought is like, did I screw up somehow and like leave my van open? And maybe I did that. Like maybe nobody touched anything. Maybe I just left the back doors open like a complete idiot. It's probably just denial, just trying to like pretend that it's not really happening. So I open my back doors and I notice that both of my bikes are gone. My Squeeb, you've obviously seen pictures of it. It's a 160 millimeter travel front, 145 travel rear, painted red, full XTR group set on it, brand new Wahoo computer from Sea Otter, pink. It was like one of the first ones out. Red Industry or black Industry 9 wheels with a couple red spokes on there. I mean, everything on that bike is either completely custom or really hard to get. Blacked out DVO fork, stuff that you just don't see. So that, you know, I don't know what these guys plan to do with these bikes, because I don't know like where the market is. You know, even if they don't use the frame, the wheels are still identifiable. It's not like there's a ton of XTR kits out there. I just don't know how they're gonna piece it out. So first thing that I notice is that Squeeb is gone. They also took my Trials bike. The Trials bike is like literally one of a kind. So I don't know how you ever get rid of that thing. That thing had custom wheels on it. You know, like if you see any i9 wheels that are 27.5 with all red spokes, they're definitely mine. Oh, hey, what's up, Kyle Robinson? $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Hope to get you some new stuff. The BMX Robinsons, that definitely will help out a lot. Thank you very much. Yeah, so Keithy's asking right there, both of the forks were DVO forks with no green on them, other than the O-rings that they put on there to, you know, to see where your travel is. My suspension bike had on a brand new coil rear shock that I just put on there a couple days earlier. So you've seen the photos. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you could go there, and I posted lots of photos and stuff like that. So you could definitely check out those bikes on my Instagram. So I noticed that the bikes are gone. Oh my God. Laura Slavin with a $25 super chat. Sorry what happened to all my stuff. Helped us. Hopes you get some new gear. Aw, thank you. That's really sweet. If I get some new gear, I'll make a video of you. So it'll all help you out too. Thank you so much. So I noticed that my bikes are gone. now my next instinct is to throw open the side door and find out if my backpack is in there. And I opened the side door, and that's like when my heart really sank. I love my bikes, but it was my laptop, it was my DSLR camera, it was two GoPro Hero 7s, two Garmin cameras, a Hero Session, and then even worse than all that were my two hard drives, which with all of my stuff. I had a Trail Boss from Templeton and Sedona. I had all the footage of the kids from the bike donation that we did at Sea Otter, all the assemblies, all videos from Sea Otter, everything was on those hard drives, and those were stolen too. So then I noticed my bikes are gone. I noticed that the backpack's gone. Now, the next thing that I could possibly think of any value, if there's anything left of any value, was I had $1,000 cash in my glove box. And I've had plenty of friends tell me that was an idiotic move, but I had it like, I did those demos for Sea Otter for a couple weeks. I got paid in cash, just put it in my glove box, and I figured like, I'm going to put it in with my owner's manual, whatever. It wasn't like super high profile. I didn't think of it yet. So I opened the glove box, noticed that the $1,000 is gone, or not gone. Not that I really care at that point, because already this is like the worst thing. So the $1,000 was there. So then I'm thinking, okay, they got my two bikes and my backpack, whatever. So I called. David Rich says like 15,000 or more. I'm estimating this whole thievery thing at 30 grand. Both those Reebs were, if you valued them, they'd be $9,000, $9,500, and then the camera gear was easily $10,000. So, I'll get into the laundry list of what they took. So, next thing I do, I run into the hotel, tell them we need to call the cops. And then as I'm in there, I ask if they've had other break-ins and stuff like this. This was the Holiday Inn on South Grand, I think. It shows up as Holiday Inn, Orange County Airport. So if you ever go to California, don't stay at the Holiday Inn, Orange County Airport. So I go inside. They call the cops. I asked the guy at the front desk, do you have a lot of break-ins? And he's like, no, we never, ever, ever get break-ins. That's super rare. So now I wait about 50 minutes for the Santa Ana Police Department to come. And at this point, I'm like pretty aggravated because 50 minutes seems like 50 hours right now. In that time period, though, I look up and there's surveillance cameras on the hotel that look like they'd be pretty decent on my van. And then across the street from the hotel was a dispensary that had just opened. And that place had cameras all over it. So I'm thinking, all right, this is sweet. We'll get some footage of the thieves. Sean Livingston, bike thieves do suck. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. That is really, really awesome. And I can't believe Ride Beside with another $50 super chat. You're gutted for me. That definitely helps. Thank you so much. That's really, 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 really awesome. Thank you so much, Ride Beside. You're always commenting on here on all these chats. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so I'm waiting for the cops. I'm kind of getting aggravated. They finally show up. And when they do, it was Officer Mayorga, nicest dude ever. Super, super, super nice. Tell him about my van. Tell him about that I ride bikes professionally, whatever, hoping like it's going to earn me some extra points for them to like maybe give this thing a little bit more TLC than they might. Cause in the past, I might not have thought that like they're going to really pay attention to this, because I'm sure that they have robberies all the time. Also in the meantime, when I was at the dispensary across the street, I was talking to one of the security guards and I was like, hey, do you have surveillance footage? I called the cops. Like, do you think that they would be able to, that you'd be able to pull some footage? And they're like, oh my God, that place gets robbed all the time. So now I'm like, I can't believe the guys at the front desk at the hotel say that they never ever have any incidents. And then the guys across the street, they're like, yeah, our employees' cars just got broken into last week and whatever. So now I'm like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. So they do have surveillance footage. They say that they'll cooperate when the cops come. Just send them over. Shut Up and Ride MTB. Thank you so much. $50. That is really, 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 really awesome. Okay, so where am I? So Officer Mayorga shows up. He's super helpful. When you do a police report like that, if you've never done one before, you're basically like in complete shock because you just got pretty much anything physical that I own, that I care about, stolen. Can't think of anything that I actually own that I care about more than my laptop and my camera gear and my bicycles. I have a pretty good hat collection. I might be a little upset if some of my baseball hats got stolen, but other than that, like, there's not really too much that's gonna really suck like that bad. So I know that you guys are all commenting on the side, and I will read these in a little bit, but I just want to finish my story because we have 173 people in here. It's like story time with Jeff, and like the worst story I've ever had to tell. So Officer Mayorga comes, we go across the street, we talk to the security guards over there. We also talk to the hotel. The hotel comes back while he's still there, and their surveillance cameras don't work. So good job, Holiday Inn, Orange County Airport, for having security cameras mounted on the side of the hotel that don't even work. The dispensary across the street, theirs did. I posted some of that footage on my Instagram page, so you might have seen it, the black and white footage, and it's actually kind of comical looking at average sized people ride off on my bikes because they look like so tiny riding my big gigantic bikes. So that was the best footage that we can get from those guys. But when they looked at the footage a little bit further, they said to the cops that you should probably check the Del Taco, which was like literally 150 yards away, and this other business complex that was about 150 yards away, because apparently these guys stole my bikes and then just like rode around the parking lot without a care in the world, just like hanging out, sessioning my bikes, just to add a little insult to injury. So now I'm thinking that's pretty sweet that they're riding around in the Del Taco parking lot, because we'll probably have some surveillance footage. So Del Taco wasn't super helpful at first, but then they did come through with some surveillance footage, but they had awesome shots, but it's only of the back of the guys' heads. And at first the police were thinking that it was probably transients because there's a whole bunch of homeless people that live in the area. When they looked at their surveillance footage, they determined that that's not the case. Looks like it's about 20-something-year-old dudes, and whatever, not transient people. I guess they were too well dressed or whatever. I don't know. So Del Taco turns out to be a bust, and now the strategy from the cops for the first 2 days was going to be to just scour the neighborhood, talk to the homeless, talk to whoever, see if you can come up with these two bikes, because they said, from doing this kind of stuff often, they felt super confident that they were going to find those bikes within 24 hours. And then maybe the computers and stuff like that, that's easier to hand off, that would be a little bit harder. And they said, we feel really confident that we're going to get your bikes back. The computers, we don't know. Ted Duda with $25 super chat. Thank you so much. And Rigo Barroso, hey, thanks for signing the Griffin Bike Park map for me. Hope everything works out. It's been 2.5 weeks. I'm not really sure how much is working out at this point, but you guys are definitely all making it a little bit easier. So Michael Wadawa, he wonders if they knew my van from Sea Otter and they were just being D-bags. So I'll get to that point in 1 second. Pedaling Dave, $25 super chat. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. I had a couple friends comment to me that I probably was followed, but two things. I don't have a lot of branding on my vehicle at all. You've probably seen pictures of it if you follow me on Instagram or YouTube. It just has one Reeb sticker on it. And then I know that I wasn't being followed because they have surveillance footage from the I got some kind of spot there. All right. They have surveillance footage. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, they had the suspect walking down the line of cars in California. And apparently in California, this is a thing, nothing against Californians. In this neighborhood, that's a thing. People just walk and check doorknobs and see what's in the car, and it's a crime of opportunity. And if somebody's car is unlocked, then they grab it. You would think that would happen all the time in New Jersey, but in the past, I've been kind of lackadaisical, and I usually leave my car unlocked. I probably won't do that anymore. But they have surveillance footage of somebody going down the line of cars at 1 o'clock in the morning and flipping all the handles. And then by about 1:20, they get to my van, and you can see them looking in the windows and stuff like that. And then they leave. And then at 1:40, they came back and they smashed in my driver's side window. And then they went and waited for 5 minutes or so just to make sure nobody was going to come out, make sure there was no silent alarms or anything like that. And then they went in and they spent like 4 to 5 minutes inside my van, going through everything, opening the back door, laying my bikes in the parking lot again. So Holiday Inn, Orange County Airport, like they obviously were not feeling any kind of threat that somebody was going to come up on them and say anything, because they were in absolutely no rush to get out of there. So they do that, take my bikes, take all the stuff. That was at 1:40. And then I found out the next morning at 9. So back to the investigation part. Officer Mayorga and his crew. Then we got in touch with Detective Romero. They did me a solid, and they got the CSI team involved, which was, if they turn up having a record or whatever, is going to be huge. I think at that point it's just going to be, to make an arrest, which obviously, like, I think somebody should be held accountable for it, but I'm more concerned with just getting my stuff back, versus thank you, Backwoods Biker. I didn't know that you were still a moderator. So if you did, that's awesome. So, where was I? Oh, so they sent the CSI team. They swabbed my van, the door handles. It's kind of interesting, you don't want to be part of it, but like what they decide to swab and whatnot. I knew that they had obviously had to touch my hitch in the back in order to get it down to get the bikes out. But the team wasn't interested in that. But then they were interested in like a door handle inside and stuff like that, because that would obviously place the suspects inside my van, and I guess makes it easier to prosecute or whatever. So that was one thing that definitely seemed like it could be helpful, but that's still something that has to go to the lab, and it's going to still be weeks, even though they're fast tracking it. So they did swab for DNA. That's pretty sweet. And then they spent the next couple days just scouring neighborhood, regular foot patrol. At that point, I flew home because I was supposed to fly out that morning. I stayed till that night at around 11, but then there's really not much else for me to do. So I spent the afternoon getting my window fixed. That was $500. Insult to injury. Car insurance covers the window, but I have a $500 deductible. That was more than a deductible. The contents of your vehicle are covered by homeowner's insurance, not car insurance. So then that'll have a deductible. I have a claim in for some of that, but I don't know what it's going to cover. So I went home. First couple days, don't hear anything. I would call both those officers and detectives, hoping each day that something would come up. Nothing came up. And then so if that was Thursday, on Saturday, I get a notification on my phone that, because I set an alert for Find My Mac, that my laptop had been opened. So I thought, this is sweet. We're going to catch these guys. They just opened my laptop. It sent a address, but it was a range of addresses. So it wasn't a specific house. It gave like 10 different addresses. So if it was like 3397 to 4402 South Main Street or whatever. So it gave like a block of streets or whatever, which apparently to law enforcement officials isn't specific enough. I thought that we had a surveillance footage, piece of surveillance footage of the back of somebody's head. You could at least monitor that neighborhood. and see if somebody fitting that description kind of lives there before you go kicking down doors over a laptop. I realized that you can't do that. Didn't really seem like that was an option. So that was a little bit of a heartbreak when my laptop turned on and then turned off, and then it hasn't been turned off. It hasn't been turned on again since. Talked to Apple, and apparently you can call Apple and say that you bought a computer and you don't have the login information, and you could just wipe it clean and they'll tell you how to do it. So I doubt that after 2.5 weeks I'm ever getting my laptop back. Manny, thank you so much for $25 super chat. He says he hopes things work out. I go back and forth sometimes between wondering, being crushed by losing some of that stuff, and then some days not feeling that it's the most important thing in the world. And it's tough. Some days are really hard, and some days normally when somebody asks me to send them something that was on that computer and I can't, then it's just like a reminder. All right, so that was my computer got turned on Friday. Friday, they said they couldn't use that data for anything. So Saturday night, Sunday morning, however you want to look at it, I had to drive to Richmond, Virginia to film that video that I just posted on my channel the other day. So I drove there over into the night, got there at 3:00 in the morning, and I got a notification that like a fraud alert. Did I try to use my credit card in Santa Ana, California? So that's when I remembered that I had a spare credit card that I left in my center console. And I didn't think that anybody took anything because they didn't take anything out of my glove box or whatever. So I didn't really think or remember that card was in there. And I didn't think they tried to take my credit card. Good news is they try to swipe it at a gas pump. And when you do that, you have to put in a zip code. So when they try to do that, they didn't have my zip code. So it got declined and we turned off the credit card. That made me super, super, super hopeful, though, that we would have them on surveillance footage. So now that was Saturday night. I spent all day Sunday hoping that Monday morning I was going to call the cops in Santa Ana, let them know that they tried to swipe my credit card, that they would go to the gas station, get this awesome surveillance footage or at least a license plate, and then these guys would be busted. I call on Monday morning, and the detective says he's off until Tuesday, so he'll look into it on Tuesday. So now I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be like over 48 hours now, just having to like sit there hoping while you just imagine somebody selling your bike, selling your computer for $10, whatever, like not even getting anything for it. So that was super, super, super frustrating, having to wait until Tuesday for them to go look for this footage. So then Tuesday rolls around, finally go to the gas station. They pull surveillance footage. It was a silver crossover. He said probably like a Nissan, but they just got a profile and a color. They didn't get a license plate. They didn't get a suspect because of the way the pump was. And aside from that, no dice. So basically at that point, it was, sorry that lead didn't work out, and kind of like essentially like they're closing the case, or not closing the case, but just not actively investigating it. The detective said, maybe something will come up with the DNA evidence. If we do, we'll let you know, or if the bikes turn up or whatever. And if you see anything online, let us know, whatever. But it basically didn't seem. Jade Sellers, I do need a private investigator. Seriously. If anybody's on here and you're a private investigator, hook a brother up. So they try to use my credit card, and then I got it turned off, and the police tell me that they're basically not like looking into this anymore, but if something comes up, they'll let me know. And I flew back to California last Wednesday before going to Fruita for the Fruita Fat Tire Festival. A lot of people thought I'd cancel. I just needed to get to that festival and get my head back in the game and have some fun riding with all of you and whatever. It wasn't going to do me any good to sit around and dwell on it in New Jersey. So as I'm driving from California to Fruita, just like driving, looking at the monotonous desert roads, and the little light bulb goes off in my head, and I think I probably shouldn't have turned off my credit card. That was probably pretty stupid because those guys still could be swiping it, and maybe they'd be dumb enough to swipe it again, and we could have caught them. So I'm thinking I totally blew it. And this was literally last Thursday. So 9 days ago, I call my credit card company and I tell them what happened. They obviously knew, but I said, I got the credit card turned off because of fraud. But if somebody tries to swipe it again, even though I wouldn't find out as a consumer because I got the credit card turned off, would you get a notification or anything like that to know whether or not somebody used my credit card? And they said, yeah, we would. And I said, can you check that account and see if anybody's tried to use it? So they checked, and sure enough, that the night before on the Wednesday, they used my credit card again at a McDonald's in Santa Ana. So now if you map out all these things, they're all within like 5 miles. So it's either that card's either changing hands, or I'm hoping that's still the same people. Both swipes, whether it was a gas station or whatever, both were at like 11 o'clock at night. So I thought this was going to be the jackpot because they swiped it at McDonald's. McDonald's is like a big corporation. They got to have good surveillance footage. I was super excited. That was 9 days ago, and the McDonald's in Santa Ana still have not provided the cops with surveillance footage. So if you eat McDonald's, you should boycott McDonald's. Don't eat McDonald's, first of all, but if you do, boycott them, because it's been 9 days. So that's 9 days that like I could have had my bikes back, my computer back, my hard drives, all the stuff back. And I don't have it back because they swiped my credit card at a McDonald's, and chances are it probably had changed hands, but so that's where it is. The only other update was I got a message on my Instagram last week from somebody saying that they had seen a red Reeb listed online in Denver, and then we tried to find it again and we didn't see it. And then the last thing was Sunday. On Friday, I got another email that somebody in Santa Cruz saw the police arresting 2 people with 2 red mountain bikes with white letters. And I called Santa Cruz Police Department, but you have to leave a message for the property division, and I haven't heard back. So that's basically a 47-minute update of my whole van break-in. So still waiting to hear back from insurance. That's still going to be at least 3 weeks. It took them 2 weeks. They finished the police report on Friday. The one thing that I want to talk about was when they take a police report, they take it when you're standing in the parking lot and all your stuff has just been ripped off. So, I told them about my laptop, all the cameras, my bikes. I noticed that my Goal Zero generator thing was taken. They took, this is really ridiculous. I keep all my Julbo sunglasses in the back of my driver's seat, and they're kind of like all organized. I must have had at least 6 pairs of Julbo sunglasses. They took all of those. So if you're riding around Anaheim and you see anybody wearing like this like bright fluorescent red, I guess like kind of team only Julbo glasses, they probably stole them out of my car. They took that. And then, like I said, all my cameras and everything else. Pete My Ride, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I hope that I recover my property too, but that's super, super, super generous. So thank you so much for the super chat. So that's where we're at with the whole thievery. I called it a robbery on my YouTube page, and somebody pointed out that it's not really a robbery because it wasn't taken at force. I wasn't there, but whatever, semantics. So probably one of the worst things that has happened to me. I go back and forth between thinking, that you're in the position to have all that gear to be stolen from. So I kind of felt a little bit bad the next day riding around Santa Ana, Anaheim. Once you start going into the, behind the scenes a little bit, there's a huge homeless community. And before I got the surveillance footage showing that it kind of was a couple punks, I kind of felt like a little bit bad, first world problem, something like, I'm fortunate and enough to have all this stuff, and there's a lot of people that have literally nothing, um, and they're in the position that they have to, like, that's the only thing that they know what to do is just steal from somebody. So I was like kind of trying to figure that all out in my head, and then I saw the surveillance footage and I saw it was a bunch of punks, and I was like, it's on. I don't feel bad for them at all because they're just like low life thieves. So I don't feel bad about them at all. The one thing that I do want to do is figure out a way once I get my bikes back and get back on my feet and whatever. I'm going to try to call on all of you. I want to try to do something for Candide. One of the things that we do with Candide is try to donate, or not that we try to do, we do is we donate bikes to underprivileged kids. And my thought process is the more kids we can get on bikes, the less likely you are to turn into a loser grown-up bike thief. So in the next couple of months, I want to try to turn this into something positive and, you know, use some of this bad karma to turn it into something good, and hopefully call on you guys to do something cool for Candide. Maybe make some donations to that nonprofit so that we can get some more kids on bikes and have less kids growing up to be loser bike thieves. All right. So we're 51 minutes in here. I told you all about the thing, the robbery. Let's get to some of these comments on the side. A lot of you have been super, super, super generous with all of these super chats and everything. That was amazing. I definitely did not expect that when I started this live chat tonight. So let's try again some of these questions. If you ask a question and I didn't talk about it because I was just rambling on about my stuff getting stolen, let's kind of start back over. First one's going to be Andrew Vale. How does my Reeb climb? You want to build a long travel 2.9er, but it has to climb. Andrew, you could see some of the videos I posted earlier. I rode for Giant for 17 years, and I totally drank the Kool-Aid of that you needed to ride Maestro suspension, and if you didn't ride Maestro suspension, everything else sucked. When I got my first Reeb, part of working with such a small company was the ability to collaborate with them and make really cool stuff. So I was going into this relationship with Reeb thinking that the suspension would be good enough and that we could make it great. When I got that first bike, I also was a little skeptical because it was 145 millimeters of travel. And I had typically spent most of my time riding a 140 millimeter travel bike, but on a 27.5 rear wheel. So in my mind, I always think that a 29er over 27.5 could basically compensate for, 10 to 20 millimeters worth of travel. Like if you close your eyes and ride a 27.5, it's going to feel like it has 10 to 20 millimeters less travel for the same amount of travel than a 29er. So I wasn't sure how I was going to climb. I wasn't sure how efficient it was going to be. And I wasn't sure about a 4-bar linkage, but there's so much you can do with a 4-bar to manipulate and make it handle how you want it and how the shock curve to be how you want it. When I got on that bike, it was honestly the best feeling suspension bike that I've ever had. And it's funny because there's no like marketing hype around it. Tons of companies use that style suspension, transition, intense. Well, not intense anymore, but YT, 4-bar has been around forever. And there's obviously a reason because it works really, really good. So I think it climbs awesome. I had a Trail Boss video from Templeton in Sedona, which is one of the more technical, or maybe the most technical climb in Sedona. And I did it on that bike. I did a video from the waterfall. I definitely climbed up the waterfall easier this time on my 29-inch 145 travel bike than I did a couple years ago on my 140 millimeter travel Maestro bike. I hadn't seen it in a couple years, and I think I made it up the second or third try, which without something like that, the more you ride it, the easier it gets. So I'm super impressed with the climbing of that bike. It's definitely not the lightest bike that you're ever going to have. Actually, it's funny that Jade just commented. My bike is 33 3/4 pounds, but it's an extra large, and I have fairly heavy duty casing tires on there. And I've also noticed that I built up that bike with some crappy rims and before I had the i9s and some really heavy tires, and I was even riding it weighing in at over 35 pounds, and it felt fine. And my 100% carbon, or not 100%, but my carbon fiber bike before that, my Giant, which was a 27.5, if you had asked me what it weighed, I would have always told you that it was always, I would have always guessed that it was under 30 pounds because it was always Shimano Di2. It always had nice wheels. It was full carbon, whatever. I would have always I never weighed it. I just would have guessed that was 30. And then when I weighed it this year, I saw that was 32 and 3/4 pounds for that bike for a size extra large, just because I'm a big dude. So my bikes are big. So when I got the Reeb and I only went up, a half a pound or whatever, and I know that I've had failure issues in the past, and this bike, I've seen the guys at Adam Prosize who welds these Reebs does the hugest freaking jumps I've ever seen. And when you feel like you could literally ride off a house and not worry about your frame breaking like I have in the past, I'm more than willing to give up a little bit of weight, and you don't feel it on a trail. You honestly do not feel it on a trail. All right. Steve Duran, what kind of prep time do I need to set up a Candide program? We have the same thievery problem in Salinas too. Kids that we will get their bikes jacked in the skate parks in the past. So Steve, we did a bike donation. If you look at the video that I just posted on my YouTube page a couple days ago, and I got to vent to you as some of my fans right now. Whenever I post a riding video, they always get good likes, but whenever I post these Candide videos, or not likes, a lot of views. Whenever I post these Candide videos, which they tug at my heartstrings, they never get the same amount of views. So if you haven't watched that last Candide video, go back and watch it because it's pretty awesome. And that one I didn't even edit. The guys from Pro Azumi made for me. So Steve, it doesn't take a ton of time. We always try to identify a Title I school where it's a low income school district. So we make sure that we're identifying kids in need. And then we try to find an organization to work with whenever possible to help offset the cost of the bikes. But if you ever want to send me an email about that, Steve, it's Jeff@ReebCycles is my email address. Or you could just message me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. All right, let's see some of these. Ryan West has some good memories on Mountain Creek greens. I was shredding the Mountain Creek greens, blues, and some of the black diamonds yesterday on my Reebdiculous steel hardtail. And that bike is tons of fun. It doesn't have any rear suspension, but it's a chrome alloy frame with an awesome geometry, and so it's super strong, whatever. And it was pretty cool sending it off on the big drops. Jumps really well. It just feels like a big BMX bike. It's super, super fun. I feel like in about 1 minute I'm going to start losing some fans because Game of Thrones is coming on, huh? Okay. Beeble MTB, thank you so much. How much rise with $2 super chat? How much rise I like on my bars? The bars I'm riding right now are Tharsis carbon, and they're a 20 millimeter rise. But it actually, before that bike got stolen, I was thinking that I was going to switch to a new set of handlebars that were 30 millimeter rise. So I was riding it in all those videos with 20 millimeter rise. When I got back to New Jersey, I was going to put 30 millimeter bars on there. Unfortunately, thing got stolen. I never got to switch to handlebars, but I might go to the higher bars. 20 millimeters has always worked pretty sweet. The one thing that I like about the Squeeb now is I don't have a ton of spacers under the stem. And I cut my steer tube. I cut my steer tube short, and I can't raise my handlebars up anymore, even though I don't have any spacers under there. So the 30 millimeter bars were really just to raise my bars up, since I kind of cut my steer tube too short. I didn't cut it too short. I just cut it like the sweet length. And now that I want to go higher, I can't. So I just figured I'd put it on higher bars. Okay. XC Ben with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. You love my positivity and I'm the man. Thank you so much, Ben. You're the man. It's not always easy being positive. Sometimes you got to fake it. Sometimes you got to believe it. But if you just try to put it out there into the universe and you just try to make it the way it's got to be, and I feel like everything has to, the universe has to pay this stuff back or something. I don't know. I feel like it would be pretty ironic if I'm like trying to do all this stuff with Cand-Aid and try to get kids on bikes and try to do good stuff, and then I end up getting robbed. It seems too ironic to not work itself out in the end. So you just have to have some faith that that's going to work out. Andrew Vale, am I coming to the NICA Skill Zone? I think I was going to plan on coming to the last NICA race of the year in New Jersey. But if you know more about it, post it in there, because I think it's in June. Okay, so where were we? Is Reeve going to hook me up with a new full suspension bike? Yes, we are going to. We are going to get me a new full suspension bike. The last bike that I got, I painted red, and I wanted it to match the bikes that we give away to Cand-Aid. So that's why I chose red for the last bike. I'm kind of thinking with this new bike, I don't know if I should say or surprise you. I don't even know if anybody even cares if it's like really a surprise. But I'm thinking that I'm going to make it like highlighter yellow and make my new bike so bright that maybe it discourages people from stealing this next one, because like you literally can't even go anywhere without seeing this big gigantic yellow bike. That's right. I rode with Laura yesterday, and I did ride my bike down Asylum. That's a pretty hard trail. I didn't ride down it as fast as she did, but I did make it down. And that's one of the Black Diamond trails in Mountain Creek, and it's pretty tough. The higher speed, rockier stuff is kind of sketchy. If you're riding it on jumps and stuff like that, I don't think it really makes any difference between a hardtail or a suspension bike. But when you're going kind of fast, a little squish in the rear end definitely helps. Okay. My favorite Oscar Blues beer, I would say right now it's Cano Bliss. And I had a meeting on Monday with the guys at Oscar Blues, and I might have some really, 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 like probably some of the coolest news of my career ever coming out. But I don't want to say it because I don't know if it'll happen. So I had a meeting, and it was super exciting. So we'll see if it actually comes to fruition. If it does, I'm going to be super, super, super psyched. Okay, so Sherman Butler, I do not need. I will not let Bike Thieves change me, and I will keep it rad. But it is weird when you get in your van after you've been robbed and you feel like somebody else was in there. It's kind of freaky. Raheem, about you never know how strong you are until you have to be strong. I think that's definitely true. I don't know. Like some of it's being strong, some of it's shock, some of it's just like maybe a little bit of denial. I still keep thinking I'm going to get my stuff back. I don't know, but yeah, until you're in the position, you never really know how to act. Then weld anchors in the van and get a kryptonite chain and lock. I am going to get the loudest alarm that you have ever heard. That like if you go near my van, you'll hear it in New Jersey you'll hear it from California to New Jersey. That is definitely part of the plan, is to have like the loudest alarm system of all time. Okay, Andrew, I thought it was June 2nd. Yeah, I was planning on being there, and I saw that it was at 6 Mile, but I just wasn't sure if I was remembering right. So yes, I am going to be at that NICA event for sure. Okay. That's awesome. Critical Mass asking if well, first of all, I don't know if I'm really a star. maybe in the bike world, but that's about as good as being a star on like your block or your in your neighborhood. So it doesn't really go very far. And let's see what Chris Nagy says. But this story is about something he was robbed and supporting it anyway, morally or not. People's choice. He's not asking. All right, see that? See, I didn't ask for it, guys. And I will tell you the truth. I've been the first person to to feel weird about super chats. I never know how to feel about it because I'll address your topic right there, critical mass. I always thought like, yeah, you're a professional mountain biker. You shouldn't take money from your fans and stuff like that. But being a professional mountain bike rider is definitely more of a lifestyle choice than a sound financial decision. And when you get robbed for $12,000 worth of camera gear, I'm not too proud to say thank you and just take it. All right. A new saxophone cover dedicated to me. Can I please react to it right now? Where did you upload the saxophone cover? So Ricky, I saw some stuff. I saw some stuff on Instagram about some Omba drama. Omba is one of the I think it's the longest running trail organization down in Florida. And if you've ever mountain biked in Florida, I think they have their hands in a lot of the South Florida stuff, and they build really, really awesome stuff. If you're ever down in Florida, definitely check out. Definitely instrumental in Santos. I think they kind of have tentacles and some of the other stuff down there, but they do really good work. And I've been going to Florida for probably close to 10 years now. I go every winter time because it's an easy commute down the coast and super fun riding. It's always going to be warm. I have a friend Lance that lives down there, Lance Trappy. Sean Livingston, yeah, you've ridden it. It's pretty awesome. All right. And yeah, Sean, if you're ever down there, definitely go to Alafaya. Alafaya is definitely one of my favorites. It's super, super fun to ride there. So, hey, everybody, it's an hour and 7 minutes into this. Let's just give this like maybe 8 more minutes. We'll do like an hour and 15 chat. So if you have any more questions or anything, put them up there. I was kind of getting off topic. My whole thing was to tell you about the van break-in, and then also about my ride schedule. I think I've said it before on this channel. I love making riding videos. I love that you all watch them, but my goal with making all these videos isn't just to make videos. I love that you watch them. I hope that you find them inspiring, but I really like the community that builds, and nothing makes me happier than when I go to a mountain bike festival and I have a ton of you show up to do some bike rides. So it's awesome that you watch the videos. I hope that you find the how-to stuff useful and the videos fun. But my favorite thing is to ride with you at festivals. So that brings me to my schedule. I still have a whole bunch of stuff. I've only done like a couple big festivals this year. Sedona Fat Tire Festival and Fruita Fat Tire Festival. Those were both awesome. But now we're really getting into like the meat and potatoes of the schedule. So it's going to be starting this Thursday, the River Rock Festival down in Richmond, Virginia. I'm doing rides there Thursday and Saturday. Sunday, I'll be in Warsaw, Indiana at the Skinny Fat Tire Festival. Monday, up at Perrin Brewing in Michigan. And I think I have a week off. Then there's a ride with Tenafly Bicycle Workshop in northern New Jersey. NEMBA Fest is coming up. I'll be back in Colorado for the Burning Can Festival. I'm going to be all over the place. So the easiest way for you to find those rides and to try to come on them is to go to trailboss.bike. Bought that domain at the beginning of the year, and most of my summer schedule's on there right now, but I'll go on there later tonight. Finally, now that I finally have some free time, and I'll put on Richmond, Warsaw, and Perrin Brewing, which are all within the next week. Syed Howell, $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Syed, I spent 45 minutes giving the whole thing. Go back and watch the video. You can hear the whole story, the ups and the downs. But the bottom line is we're at like 2.5 weeks now, and there's no leads. The only two things still out there are they swabbed my van for DNA. And that's weird. I totally thought they would take my fingerprints and stuff to compare it, but I guess everything's so high tech now. The technician just took the swab, put it in my mouth, and checked all the door handles and everything in my van. And if they happen to pull a match from the system, they could get caught from that. And the only other lead is they used my credit card at a McDonald's in Santa Ana a little over a week ago. But other than that, no activity, no nothing. It's terrible. And Robert McKay, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Thieves suck, but please not highlighter yellow. Robert, comment right now what you think would be a better choice. Why not highlighter yellow? I just saw some 2020 clothes from Pearl Izumi, and they had some highlighter yellow. I thought maybe it was coming back. I just thought like the louder, the brighter, the better. How about pink? Maybe something that maybe discourages people from wanting to steal this next bike. Maybe the red bike looked too good, and they needed to have it that bad. And that's another thing too. All of you guys, you can still stay on the lookout. If you're around and you ever get to check Craigslist, or you're looking on Pink Bike or whatever, if you ever see any of those Reeb bikes, if it's an extra large Reeb suspension bike, regardless of the color, we've only made probably a half a dozen of those bikes. So chances are, if you see one for sale, it's probably mine. So definitely let me know. Let's see here. Chris Nagy, I am definitely a firm believer of metal beats plastic. Yes. Let's see. What do you guys think? You don't like highlighter yellow? I saw some other thread going on about yeah. So what do you think of the fluorescent yellow? Cool or not cool? I thought it might be cool. I always wanted to have like an obnoxiously. If you think I should get hot pink, I would definitely get hot pink. Keithy, it was a jade coil. So DVO has a new coil shock coming out. It wasn't that one. It was the older one. But again, you don't see too many trail bikes. You definitely don't see any Reeb trail bikes with coil DVO shocks. I mean, this bike is super easy to find if it ever gets seen. See that? Jason McConnell likes yellow. Laura likes hot pink. Greg Berth just gave me $40. I think he should choose the color right there. Greg Berth, one of my oldest buddies from New Jersey. He says, I've always been a great advocate for mountain biking, and he said, enjoyed all the times we've ridden. Ride on. Dude, thank you so much. That was really, 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 really generous. Kyle Robinson, as long as you get those old Airwalk tennis shoes, remember they were made out of like actual tennis ball material. So you got to be super old school BMX for that one. But Airwalk used to make BMX shoes or skate shoes, whatever. I guess they were BMX shoes out of tennis ball material. They're really, really, really gross. Hot pink for sure. Now I think we're getting more votes for hot pink than we are for yellow. Jaguar does matching highlighter yellow. How many pounds was the coil? That's a good idea. You might find it was a 550. So if you see a Jade coil online anywhere with a 550 spring, the shock is really identifiable. The wheels are industry 9. The one set was a Hydra wheel set. It had red hubs and red spokes with black rims. The other one, I got them just before the Hydras dropped, so it was red hub, 4 black spokes, so just like making a stripe, and then black spokes, black rim. They both had ergon grips and saddles, XTR kit. I can't imagine that there's too many used XTR kits floating around online right now. So that's something that if you see a used XTR kit, that stuff just kind of started hitting the market. So I'd be pretty surprised if somebody's like trying to sell a used XTR kit already. Let's see. Jade thinks hot pink over yellow for sure. So that's like 3 votes for hot pink. Then there's another yellow. So now it's like 2, 3. STV3, hot pink and black everything. That would be pretty sweet. Hot metallic pink, fluorescent yellow. Hardtail Party does have a hot pink fluorescent yellow, or hot fluorescent yellow, and so does my friend George Ryan. He has an evil, I forget which model it is. It's like the trail bike that they made a downhill package. It has a double crown fork with everything, and his bike is fluorescent yellow, and it looks pretty cool. Again, we're getting a lot of responses for the hot pink. Might have to go with that. Oh my God, Sean, that would be disgusting. 2-tone hot pink with fluorescent yellow rear triangle. I don't know about that. Ride with Chris Airman dropping into the chat. You missed all my bad fortune, Chris. Is that called GT40? Oh, GT40, like the car. Right. I was going to say, I knew that color looked familiar. I've seen some matte hot pink would be cool. Now that you point that out, Greg, I was thinking with even if it was fluorescent yellow, that I would try to do matte fluorescent yellow, not gloss fluorescent yellow. Keith E.G., I'm pretty sure on my next bike that it will have a GPS unit. I think it's like a couple $100 a year or something like that. But I'm definitely going to put a GPS on that bike, just because A, I want to get it back, and B, I want to catch bike thieves. Do fluorescent yellow with pink letters. I don't know about that. Oh, gray leaf glow in the dark. That'd be pretty cool. Brett Tippy had a glow in the dark bike, and it looks pretty sick. It's usually like kind of whitish when you. Who gave me a thumbs down? You know what, Jason McConnell? If you're still watching this, if you're one of the 92 people still sticking around, we did have 100 thumbs up. If you're one of the 94 people sticking around, go to my YouTube page. If you haven't watched the video of the Candade bike donations that the guys from Pearl Izumi made for me, check out that video and you will be amazed that somebody gave that a thumbs down. So I am convinced that there are people that will literally thumb down anything. Ted, am I scared to race Laura, or did somebody else challenge her? I'm not racing. I would race her on my suspension bike, but I'm not racing her on a hardtail. I saw her ride the Pro GRT, well, pieces of the Pro GRT course, and she's looking pretty freaking fast. I think you're gonna be pretty surprised this year. Green alien armpit. That sounds gross. All right, so should we wrap this super chat up? Are you guys bored or what? I see like we were up to close to 200 and now we're down to 100, and I think it probably has a lot to do with Game of Thrones starting, so probably losing some people to Game of Thrones. But unlike Game of Thrones, I wouldn't have a coffee cup that would be left on set. I'd probably have a beer can, a little bit more myself. But I do drink coffee too, so that's totally in play as well. David Rich, don't say anything about it because I haven't watched it, and now I'm missing tonight's right now, so I could chat with all my friends. So I still have to catch up on last week's, and then I'll get to this week's. I guess we're still talking about bike colors here, huh? What are some other colors that you guys like? I remember I painted my first trials bike when I was in college. I painted it army green, and then I put fluorescent yellow letters on it, and I thought that was pretty sick. All right, good night, Jack. I didn't even know Jack Adler was here. Thanks for stopping by. Ooh, Jeff raced Laura down Asylum. I read a hardtail video. That would be a pretty good video. Can I keep up on a hardtail? But I honestly don't think I can. And then the problem is it's not a very entertaining video if you're just like, you start and then you're like later, because the whole point is to get follow cam footage. And if you can't hang on her wheel, then it kind of defeats the purpose of the follow cam footage. And I don't really want to get beat by I don't want to get beat by anybody, let alone a girl, on one of my videos. Although I'm sure there's plenty of girls that could beat me. But throw a couple obstacles in there, and I got a chance. If you have to bunny hop or something like that. Matte Royal Blue with chrome decals, that's pretty sick. There's some photos floating around of a thing called the Pisgah Super Bike, I think it's called. And it's a fundraiser. If you go to Industry 9 or Cane Creek or Reeb, if you go to any of their Instagram pages, they've all posted pictures of it recently. It's a raffle bike, and it does a tour for a month or something like that. And all the funds go to the Pisgah Conservancy, I think, to help build trails. But it's basically like a Reeb bike with Cane Creek components, Industry 9 components, all like companies, or as many companies as they could find that are local to Pisgah, and then they build up this super sick bike, and it's a blue with a lot of gray hits on it. It's pretty sick too. You should get matte neon pink with gross aqua letters. I would definitely get matte neon pink. I don't know about the gross aqua letters. Maybe not gross. And I'm not racing the whole Pro GRT course. If I put in tire liners, maybe, but I think the chances of making it down the Pro GRT course without a flat tire would be a little rough. Sean, checking out the Reeb gravel bikes. They're pretty sweet. Yeah, Sean, where do you live? I totally recognize you from commenting on her all the time. Maybe blue letters with black, and the black is blue glitter. That'd be kind of sweet. I got to find out. So one of the guys who does some sales for Reeb, and he works in Cycle Hops, in the bike shop Cycle Hops. He just got a Reeb done, and I don't know if he posted any pictures of it yet. If you follow my Instagram, I'll try to post it in the next couple of days. So it's a powder coated chrome paint. So it looks pretty chrome, but it's powder coated, so it's protective with a durable finish. And then he got chrome decals on it because the frame is like not super, super, super high polish. It's pretty chrome. And then the decals and everything are straight up chrome. And he got chrome Industry 9 wheels with silver spokes and silver hubs, and then like silver bars. It's pretty sweet. It's like as much silver as you could possibly get on a bike. It's pretty dope. Peter Lang, he just joined the live chat. We've been talking for an hour and 25 minutes, and the bottom line is I don't have my bikes back. If you want to, you should totally go back and watch the trials and tribulations of Jeff. You could hear the whole story about my bikes, how they got stolen, all the investigation that went into it, and a couple things that are still potentially like hanging out there that might help me out. But long story short, I don't have my bikes. I don't have my computers. I don't have anything. But I'm still holding out hope that something will turn up. But even if it doesn't, we will persevere, and I'll get some more bikes, and I'll eventually accrue some camera gear, and we'll get back to normal. Maybe do a cotton candy themed bike, blue letters and pink background. Black on black would be pretty sick, Sean, but I feel like I need to make a statement. After getting my bike robbed, it's got to be really, really, really bright. So it's going to have to be something. It's going to have to be something that's either like fluorescent pink, fluorescent yellow, something super identifiable, with the theme being like thieves suck, and I don't want to jinx myself and get this bike stolen again, but just make it like, try to make the unstealable bike. Jade, I do like jumpsuit orange. That's pretty sweet too. Orange is pretty rad. Do you think that jumpsuit orange is better than fluorescent pink though? And Sean, you are pretty lucky to be that close to Highland. When I get my suspension bike, I definitely got to get back up there and do some riding. Jason McConnell saying, "Damn it, 76ers." Let's see what the score of that game is real quick. Let's see here. This is where the super chat does like a lull, because my buddy Jason comments that the 76ers must be blowing it. They're not. It's 86-89, unless the game is over and you're ahead of me. But I can't really say that I want the 76ers to win, because I'm from New Jersey, and if you're from New Jersey, you typically cheer for New York teams, and if you cheer for New York teams, you typically cheer against. Well, if you're from northern New Jersey, you cheer for New York teams. If you're from southern New Jersey, you cheer for Philly teams. But we're just supposed to cheer against Philly teams. So the 76ers have some good players on it. They all seem nice, but I gotta go Canada. Like, I gotta go Toronto Raptors. And plus, I have a Milwaukee Bucks hat that I bought like 3 years ago, so I won't be accused of bandwagoning. But if you follow me, you know that I was always a Cavaliers fan. Now we're going Milwaukee Bucks, even though they're all going to get beat by the Warriors. Okay. All right, everybody, we got one more minute. We're going to pause this live chat exactly at 1 hour and 30 minutes. So thank you so much for joining in tonight, for listening to all the updates on my bikes. If you want to ride with me this summer, there's still time. Just go to trailboss.bike. I'll put that in the description once I repost this. But you go to trailboss.bike. It has my schedule on there. I'm going to update my next events, which are coming up super fast. It's this Thursday in Richmond, Virginia, 5:30 at night. We're going to ride the River Rock course. Saturday morning, we're going to do the River Rock course again, but we're going to session it. So that'll be more of a fun ride, whereas Thursday night will be a little bit more of a preview. And then Sunday, I'm going to be at the Skinny Fat Tire Fest in Warsaw, Indiana. And on Monday night, I'll be at Perrin Brewing, and we're going to be doing a skills ride there and a bike build. And we're going to be donating more bikes to more kids. So hopefully we have less thieves because we give them constructive stuff to do. So check out Trail Boss Out Bike. Let's ride the summer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the super chats tonight. That was awesome. It was cool catching up. And now that I'm not on the road for an entire month like I was in California, it was hard doing super chats. We'll try to catch up at least once every couple weeks. So thank you so much, and talk to you soon.